Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Left, Wrong, and Center. I'm left of center.
And I'm center left.
What's up?
What's going on?
I'd like to take this inaugural moment of today's episode to remind everyone that Republicans control all three branches of the federal government and the shutdown is their fault. That's today's episode, everyone.
All right, I'll see you next week.
Seriously, that is one of the most important things that I can say right now. My Twitter feed is inundated, like literally, maybe it's because I'm engaging with some of them, but like it is just right-wing checkmark after right-wing checkmark after right-wing checkmark. I'm also noticing, this is not necessarily political, but it is related because it's happening in the replies on political posts. The resurgence of the R word. And like I really do try. I feel like I'm a sensitive person, but I try not to put that out into the world all the time.
Right.
I am so like that word. If you use that word, you're a disgusting person. There is no reason to use that word. Call me woke, but like.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
There is no reason.
No need in 2025.
And we're throwing it around now like it's like 2000. Like it's like people will say something that somebody doesn't like or disagree with or whatever, and the response is, "Well, you are like I refuse to say it." It's like that and the N-word. I call myself the F slur all the time, but like
I think that one's bad too. But I think
but it's
I
like,
was just playing Fortnite the other night, and I play Squad Bills.
Explaining the shutdown to a Canadian, I heard.
That is true. Someone was asking me about that, and they actually thought we were in a civil war, but this is another person.
Well,
and I said, I was like messing around on Fortnite, and the girl was like, "You're the R word. You're a R word." And I said, I literally was like, hold up, because I was like messing around. And I was like, why would you say that? And they're like, because you are. And I'm like, okay. I was like, that word is just not right.
You should have popped out the learning disability card.
Yeah, well, that's true. Sometimes,
Well, yeah. So I didn't like. This was not a piece of the tangent that I wanted to talk about today, and I guess we're opening it with a super woke thought. But I
don't think it's woke. It's like saying the N-word's bad to use. I think that's a bad word to use. I think the F slur for gay people was bad. I think the R word is bad too.
I'm uncomfortable when I hear the N-word, but like if it's a black person using it, I'm not going to tell them not to.
Yeah,
like,
when it's in general, I just don't like hearing it.
I get it.
Because you know what it means.
But with the R word, nobody that has a learning disability or like
intellectual or real disability
was born is using that word to describe themselves.
Correct.
It's like highly offensive.
It is.
Whatever. That's not what I wanted to talk about, but I'm glad I said it.
Well, we have a lot to talk about.
There's a lot
today,
to talk
Kyle.
about. There's a lot going on.
It's been a while since we've met, and I see you, but I'm actually really excited to dive in today and talk a little bit more about. We're going to be talking about some elections that are coming up.
Some elections next week. Although today's Wednesday. I might publish this before.
You should. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about redistricting for 2026, and then we're going to also talk about the government shutdown and how it's affecting Americans.
Yeah. A little bit of midterm stuff, and there's going to be plenty of voter blame. Because I mean, truthfully, like we kind of walked into this studio. Normally we have sort of an agenda of what we want to talk about, like written down, and it often kind of verges off track, but like, man, like we haven't recorded since the government shutdown started.
Because we are shut down.
Yeah.
When the government
shuts down, we just go into a closet
things
to
have
recharge.
I've been really busy at work. You've been really busy at work. Things have changed. That's just how life works.
And I'm sorry, right now I'm hugging my job very tightly because the market sucks, and I know that people who are being laid off, it has nothing to do with their performance necessarily, but like in most cases it doesn't. But like my mentality this year has literally just been like, give them no extra reason to target you. Like,
well, I've taken a lot of responsibility at my job, and I was 2 hours away all day today working. So it's been a long couple weeks. I'm not complaining, but I just haven't had time to do the things I enjoy. So
it's like the weird combination of being thankful to be employed and being frustrated that you have to be thankful for your job. Cause like I remember it's so crazy how fast things have changed for the worse. Like it's not good change.
Right.
where like just a couple of years ago, like the Great Resignation and people migrating to jobs that were better suited to them and whatever. And I think that's part of the goal of what's happening now is like keep people enslaved. And like I'm using that word to like, I mean, it's a top-down mentality of like I think the job market is bad. I think they're tanking it on purpose. One, to refuel or reorganize wealth up to the very top, but also to like pop the bubble of increasing wages. And it's like, I mean, it's a very sinister game.
I think there's a lot of economic weaponization that's happening on the federal government level
on purpose.
And
I think we need to be clear about that because so many people that I like when I see people talking about it, they're like, "Oh, Trump's in denial." Like the General Motors layoff that was announced today, that was like 1,200 jobs. I think I saw Mike Nellis. Do you know who that is?
No.
He's like he has a check mark, but he's like a Democrat.
Okay.
But he was like, "Oh, and Trump is so in denial about the job market." I'm like, "No, he's doing this on purpose."
Well, here's the thing that I wanted to say is that during the COVID pandemic, the millionaires and billionaires got more and more wealthy because the stock market didn't crash, because they continually spend and put stimulus into the economy. So I think that's the game that they know that they can make money on. And I think you're going to see that, especially with the AI bubble that's coming up.
Which is going to explode.
I very much so. And, you know, I'm very pro economic development. I'm pro job. I'm pro worker. I think there's some opportunities in the economy, but I don't think our federal government is really focusing on that.
Yeah.
I think it's more about how they can enrich their friends.
Yeah. And it's, I mean,
and themselves, obviously.
I once got a comment about this podcast. Basically, like, thank you for not dooming the whole time. But, like, I got to be real, like, mentally, right? Like, mentally for the whole year, really. But, like, I'm just...
It's
like,
only 10 months in, Kyle.
I know. Everything kind of sucks. But
it's not going well right now.
But, like, what I said also last year, like, right after the election was, like, the first year is going to be the hardest because it's going to be... This is the time where we feel the most powerless because... We go into next year and we have the midterms. We like there's energy to channel into the midterms. Then right after the midterms, we're going to start having presidential candidates announce. And like I was texting
Team Gavin.
I was texting somebody today who he was like, I try to be an optimist. And I was like, the most optimistic thing I have to offer right now is that like this is all happening. There's going to be all this damage, and then we can hopefully rebuild something better out of the rubble.
It's going to be really hard to undo the damage that's been done in these last 11 months.
Yes,
genuinely.
I agree.
Yeah.
But I also am like, the damage should not have been done, and we should not be forced with this decision. But it's like, I do wonder if there's a light at the end of the tunnel where we are able to build back better.
Right.
And like rebuild. I went to see in the time that we have been away
on a hiatus.
Yeah, I went to see Kamala Harris on her book tour.
Oh.
And it was in DC. It was the Kara Swisher interview, and I was very disappointed because I really generally like her, and it was not her best work. But something that Harris said, and it's in her book too, was essentially like when we start rebuilding after all of the damage of this administration, let's not get too nostalgic. And
well, that's the problem. Nostalgia is such a deadly weapon.
Right. And I don't want to think about the 80s or the 90s. I want to think about...
I totally agree. And this is where I'm at with the rebuilding part. And I know you were talking about how we're going to have to blame the voters. The voters are going to have to be involved because nothing can be done in 2 years. So you need to, or 4 or 8. There needs to be a lasting, here's what we're going to do. Here's our vision for the future. Here's how we're going to do it. This is what we're going to need to do. This is how we need to address these issues. And I think that going forward, Democrats and independents and even Republicans need to be held to that standard of, I don't want to go back to 1995. I love that Bill Clinton was president in 1995, but we're closer to, the midpoint of this century than we are basically 1995.
Right.
So I think we need to finally get on board with a new decade or new century that we're in and really push hard. But there's a lot of factors that are swirling in the abyss right now, and I'm not scared, but it feels like we're on a perilous time
We're in I don't like where we're at. And what was so refreshing about the Harris book tour event that I went to was just like, and I know you agree with me on this, like it was so nice. Whatever you think of Kamala Harris, it was so nice being in a room full of people who don't just throw up their hands and go, I miss Obama.
Well, and that's the thing where we're being nostalgic for Obama and better times. I really think we need to move on. And that's where, like, I think we might disagree. Like, in 2028, and I want to get back to our more local elections here soon, but in 2028, I want candidates who have nothing to do with the Obama-Biden legacy or even Clinton legacy. I want to see what can be the future of the country. And it's not necessarily a left, right, center map. I think there's ideas, and I've really changed my thoughts in the last couple months on certain things. Like, I don't think we are on a trajectory where it's the progressives who are going to dominate or the centrists that are going to dominate. I think people just want jobs, they want economic security, and they want to know the future of the country. And if that's a far left position, that's great. If it's a far right position, that's great. If it's a centrist position, that's great too. I just want to hear how we're going to get it done, what we're going to do. And I want politicians to stop talking like a politician. And I can jump into this where they refuse to answer the questions. Mm-hmm. They refuse to they dance around all the questions. Like, and I'm not going to out who it was, but I just watched a local debate, and the moderator basically asked really straightforward questions. Like, and I was thinking, hey, I could sit there and I could answer every single one of these questions. You might not like my answer, but I could answer them. And both the candidates on the stage could not answer the questions because they were afraid they were going to alienate someone. I would rather have someone try and fail than someone try to sit in the middle of the lane and play both sides.
I think what's frustrating about that, I agree, but I think what's frustrating about that is the fact that there have been very famous instances of where that has come back to bite a Republican.
Right.
It predominantly only affects our side.
Yeah.
But
if I lose, like if I was in that situation and I lose because because I said what I believed, I feel like that's a just loss.
I feel like it's a just loss, and I would be.
I'd rather say what I believe than what.
Which an example of this is, and we both love her, and she's about to like run away with Virginia.
Oh, sure.
Abigail Spanberger.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I thought she had a good debate, but.
That debate was literally
she had a good debate, and that was
I don't drink, but if I was a drinker, if every time Wilson
that's not
Sears,
discrimination.
If every time Winsome, sorry, it's been a long day. Winsome. Oh my gosh, Winsome Sears interrupted Abigail Spanberger, I would be in the hospital getting my stomach pumped.
And if I had a shot for every time that somebody both sides that, I'd be with you.
Yeah, I mean,
the moderator did it. Did you hear the moderator say, "Excuse me, we can't hear when you're talking over each other"?
And Abigail was like, I am not talking. And she didn't. She kept her cool.
But to your point about the questions, say yes, I still endorse Jay Jones.
Well, yes. Say yes or no.
Say yes.
If she said no, I would respect that.
Sure. But
don't both sides. And she did it with the trans issue too. The sports issue. Like,
well, what's funny
say
is,
yes or no. It's okay.
What's funny about Spanberger and the trans stuff is, I don't know how closely you're paying attention. I'm sending you all the polls that I see.
You're right.
If you dive into the crosstabs of those polls, Winsome Earl Sears, that is her issue. That is the only thing she's talking about is transgender locker rooms, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's lost so much salience. Like, nobody cares.
Well,
and Spanberger has the edge. Like, when asked who voters trust more to handle that issue, she is the one that's leading.
I know that I think I've said it on the podcast before, and this is about us. This is about you and me. We were out knocking doors last year for Kamala Harris in Erie, and we were at a housing project. It's a government-owned housing project, and I support that. I want to be very clear about that. But we knocked on the door of a person, and the woman answered the door, and we were like, hey, we're here for the Democrats, Kamala Harris, and then we named the other people on the ballot. And what was her first issue?
She was undecided.
And she was upset about what?
Abortion.
And
Well,
and
she
gays.
said, I don't like that Kamala Harris supports abortion, just like Obama came out supporting gay marriage. As I'm talking to her with this voice.
Well, so
and
my
I think
point,
she clocked that too, because she kind of went, and everyone can have their opinion.
well,
and
I said, well, and my view of that was, and this is kind of going to get into some of the things that we're going to talk about later on, is that again, the social safety net is very important. But if you're living in government-run housing and you're paying a subsidized rate and the taxpayers are paying the other part of it, and you're probably on social assistance, I don't think abortion or gay people should be your top issue. That's my opinion, and that's my opinion. But you have other fish to fry, literally.
Yeah. But I mean, back to the Spanberger of it all, like.
She's talking about the affordability. She's talking about the economy. Winsome is just talking about trans and Jay Jones. Those are the two things.
Yeah, and to the Jay Jones point, like now I think we can move into like talking about some of these elections.
Yeah, so
up, like,
we're going to talk about
Virginia, New Jersey, New York
City.
Briefly on Maine, briefly on Georgia,
and briefly on California.
Prop 50.
Yeah.
And then there's a Pennsylvania. And
then we'll talk about local too.
There's a point that I want to make about Pennsylvania specifically, remind me.
Yeah.
But like Jay Jones, we'll start here.
Okay.
A couple weekends ago, I texted you that a story. You texted me first, and you're like, Jay Jones was speeding once, and I was like, whatever. And then the next day,
it was 115 miles an hour, by the way.
Yeah, whatever. The text story broke.
Yeah.
And as decent people, I like to think I'm decent. I also am unashamedly partisan. We live in times where like you got to pick your tribe and you got to stick with them, because we're talking life and death here. Those texts were, my first reaction was not even like this is so awful. It was, what a stupid thing to say to a Republican. Like, what a stupid thing to put in writing to somebody who is not in your party, knowing that they're going to come out later. What are you thinking?
Or even if it was with their party. I mean, the texts are just unexcusable.
Looking at this from a strictly political lens.
Yeah.
Virginia's about to redraw their map. Mm-hmm. And I think they have the votes for it.
They just passed it.
Oh, did they?
They just passed
the
it.
The House of Delegates or the Senate?
The House of Delegates 52 to 43.
Okay, so it'll go on to the Senate.
51 to 42. I was off by one each.
Joe Morrissey is no longer in the state Senate, so I think it's going to pass the Senate. What needs to happen on these maps is it passes the House of Delegates and the state Senate before the election. It then will need to pass in the new House of Delegates and the new state Senate after the election, after the swearing in. Then it will go to a ballot referendum with marriage equality, abortion rights, and voting rights, which were all passed earlier this year.
Yeah.
I would assume that will happen next spring. So they are trying, for the primary, they are trying to get this done before the 2026 midterms to help push back against
2028.
I think they're trying to get it done before 2026.
Oh, okay.
I think they are. You could be right.
No, because if it's on the primary ballot in 2026, you can't change the map halfway through. So they'll be running. There's a way that they could, but it's not.
We'll see.
I don't think it.
I don't know the specifics.
Same with New York.
But Virginia is fighting back against this Republican gerrymandering push.
Yeah. Which we have to clarify. I believe in fair districts.
We've already clarified that.
I believe in the more competitive, the better. But if the Republicans are going to do what they're doing in Texas and they're doing in Indiana and they're doing in the South, you gotta fight back.
If North Carolina, where Democrats down ballot got 51% of the vote and hold only, I think, 35 or 40% of the seats.
Correct.
I fully support eliminating 3 seats in Virginia. I hope that Gavin Newsom's Prop 50 passes with flying colors, which I think it will.
Yep.
And I hope that they go further than they proposed.
So again, I want to be very clear. I totally agree.
In an ideal world, we don't like
North
this.
Carolina had fair maps until they elected lunatics to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
And it was a 7-7 state. The state is a 50-50 state with a little bit of an edge to the Republicans. Mm-hmm. One of the Democratic seats in North Carolina leaned Republican. It was the fairest map you're ever going to get. They just gerrymandered the shit out of it, and I think it's 12-2. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
I believe that's right.
It might be 11-3.
Now, we have the opportunity in 2028 to flip the Supreme Court of North Carolina outright. I imagine that's going to be a huge target, and I imagine
it better be.
With the hopeful anti-Trump wave, we might see. So
correct.
So like, I want people to think about, and we're not going to get into it like super in detail. I want people to think about the state of Wisconsin and Scott Walker, because what the country is facing right now is very reminiscent of the Scott Walker era.
Yeah.
Wisconsin is on its way out of the hole.
Correct.
But it's taken well over a decade.
Correct.
To
And
sort of
they
get
have
there.
fair legislative maps. It still has the lean
Not
Republican.
at the state level, but
No, state Congress they don't. But the state house they do.
it's more fair.
It's more fair. Right, that's
It's
what I'm saying.
not-
It has a lean to the Republicans.
Yeah. And it's a 50-50 state.
Right.
I'm pissed off at the Supreme Court of Wisconsin for not taking up that gerrymandering case. Maybe
Correct.
it'll come
They
before them
might.
again in a different way, and they'll take it up then. But like, anyway, with the Virginia piece,
Sorry, yeah.
quite literally, this gerrymander, it's going to end up in court.
Right.
Do you know the makeup of the Virginia Supreme Court?
No.
I don't know off the top of my head.
They've had Democratic governors for 2 terms though, and they have Youngkin right
Youngkin.
now. So I would assume that has a Democratic majority.
The point that I'm trying to make is somebody's going to sue.
Right.
We
Jason
need an
Myers.
attorney general in the office of attorney general that is going to defend these maps.
I think that he should have dropped out. That's my hot take.
I think it's too late.
Well, it is too late.
But if
so
you look at
if
the
you
primary,
drop out,
if you look at the primary, it was a close primary. So
well,
I'm like,
and I was frustrated about Jay Jones because, as you know, he was someone
was a star.
I really liked him.
Yeah.
I thought, what, this guy, he's got the mojo. I think it shows an incredible lack of judgment that he texted these things, even if he texted them to a Democrat.
I agree.
It's not funny. Like what
we
he's saying isn't funny.
Yeah, and the human of it all, and the
And there
indecency
is
of it
dark
all.
humor liberal, but like it went a little too far from dark humor.
I think like again, if we were living in 2010,
Right.
it would be a very different conversation.
And I
We're
think
not.
his speeding ticket, 116 and I think it was like a 70. Again, I
That's
think
not
his
disqualifying
No,
to me.
but I think his career's over is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
I
if he
think so too.
wins, it's done. I
Yeah.
think he'll be primary the next time.
I would hope so.
Yeah, and that's it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I do think the ticket in Virginia is going to win. I think all 3 of them are going to pull a victory. I think Spanberger is going to. This is my hot take. It's
Sure.
going to be between 10 and 15 point win.
That's so what I'm seeing on Twitter is, first of all, Fairfax County is like the Democratic.
Yeah.
There's 3. It's Loudoun County, Fairfax, and Prince William.
Yeah.
Prince William County and Fairfax are both like the turnout has been great for the early vote. Loudoun's struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Which happened last year too.
Yeah.
The rural of like western part of Virginia,
Yeah.
where the Republican strongholds are, is
Hitlerville.
also struggling. Yes, Hitlerville.
Yeah.
The early vote is looking good for Democrats. Is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, there are some weak areas for both parties.
And Western Virginia.
Spanberger is rallying with Obama, I believe, in Loudoun.
Well, I think in Western Virginia, I think voter turnout's going to be depressed for the ticket.
For the KKK reasons.
For the KKK reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is not fair and not right.
But the point that I was trying to get to, which I'm very long-winded.
Yes.
Is Ralph Northam
Yes.
won in 2017 by 9 points.
Yes.
In the first anti-Trump backlash phase.
Yeah.
That number is hovering on a lot of people's heads on election Twitter. There's a lot of polling that shows Spanberger. So first of all, I think 7 is her floor.
She's going to win above 5.
Oh,
for sure. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I don't think 5's even like.
5's not
What's
even
funny
an
is
option.
people are debating like how much is she going to win by. It's not whether she's going to win. It's not whether she's going to win by like a few points or like. So I will be disappointed if it's 7. I'll be okay if it's 8. I want her to hit that 9 number or above.
I think it's going to be 15. That's my hot take.
I could see that happening.
Think of suburban moms who are Republican. They're not going to vote for crazy. Spanberger's ads are hilarious because they have that clip of her making fun of Kamala Harris where she goes, "I'm speaking,"
Yeah.
and she sounds insane.
Well, she is.
She is.
And I think Spanberger is a future star. I mean, she already kind of is a star, but I think like honestly, she wins, and especially if she gets a margin like that, she's running for president in 2028. She's term limited to 1 term
Right.
of governors
or
of Virginia.
or Senate.
Maybe.
Yeah, both of the senators are kind of geezers. So
They're getting old, but like I think she is a
she's a star.
she's a
She
star.
always has been. I will say this. I watched, I'm a nerd like this. I've watched all of her congressional debates from
Yeah.
2018, 2020, 2022. Her debate, and it's because her opponent was so laughably scary. She was over-rehearsed in the sense that it didn't sound like her from when she was in Congress.
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed in the debate itself, but I think she's just coasting in that sense.
But it's also like, how can you respond. Like even the clip of her at the end, which this to me highlights one of the major issues that I have with the Democratic Party right now, is people still operating that old playbook of "you are not my enemy, you are my opponent." She tried saying that to Winsome Earl-Sears at the end of the debate, as Winsome Earl-Sears screamed over her. And it just like it did feel very rehearsed. You're right.
It was very. It wasn't. And this is just. I mean, it's a nitpick. It doesn't really matter. I just wish voters. I wish it was a little more earnest, but I also think that she's just protecting the brand because why does she need to go out?
Do no harm.
Yeah, I think that's what that was.
Yeah.
I mean, Winsome genuinely disqualified herself in that debate.
Well,
I mean, the debate was,
that,
I know, but the debate, like, if I was a truly undecided voter, I'd be like, okay, you got someone who's not saying much and you have a lunatic. I'm voting for the less, the less of two evils. But
my takeaway on the Jones piece, because we both agree Spanberger is going to blow it out of the water. I really would love to see her go above 9, purely for symbolism reasons.
I think she'll carry him across the finish line.
I think she will too.
I think that the lieutenant governor candidate is going to underperform Spanberger probably by like 2 or 3 points, but she's going to win.
Yeah.
But the other thing that people don't realize is, I mean, I think Jay Jones is going to underperform dramatically. I think he might still win.
That race is going to be very tight.
But I think Spanberger in the lieutenant governor's race is going to be pretty similar to each other.
Yeah, I would think so. But for symbolism reasons, I want the message sent that we are rejecting Trump. And I think if she fails to win by 9, if she fails to meet that 2017 benchmark, I think the coverage of that race is going to be, she didn't do it. She didn't do it.
Yeah.
It, like being held to that crazy high standard that Democrats always are.
And the other thing that she needs to do when she wins is you need to look at the results per congressional district and her margins. So the Virginia Beach congressional district is a competitive district. If she wins that by close to double digit, even above 1 to 2 points, that seat's in play next year. If she wins the one that is Roanoke, which is the one above it, that's a solid R district, but it's been competitive in these types of races. If she blows it out of the park there, that seat's competitive next year. And then if she wins her old seat, which she will, by a Assad level margin, that seat's solid.
Yeah.
She's really good at winning competitive races, and I actually think that's why she's so tame, because she doesn't know what to do, because it's a solid D race. Everyone is it's been shifted to
the point where
D.
Fox News and all the media pundits have erased Virginia.
Correct. It's all New Jersey now.
We're all focused on New Jersey because now, since Virginia is safe Democratic, we're ignoring the fact that is also a bellwether race.
Correct.
Like it's so laughable, but like, yeah.
And let's switch to New Jersey. What do you think about what's going on in New Jersey?
So I've been stalking the numbers on this. And I'm not an analyst. I'm following like YouMish Voter on Twitter. And Chaz Nuttycombe was the one that I pay attention to him for Virginia. But
you follow Dave Wasserman?
No, he's annoying.
Oh, okay.
I might unmute him.
He's good at it.
Close to election night, but so New Jersey, I don't know quite what to make of what's going on there for a few reasons. I think a lot of people are there's a lot to unpack. So first of all, New Jersey is a blue state. It swung to the right last year.
Right, which happens.
It happens sometimes. It did not happen in 2020. Biden won by 15, Harris won by 6. The reason that Harris only won by 6 is not because Donald Trump made enormous gains. It's because I think like 400,000 Biden voters stayed home. Like his gross number of votes is maybe 100,000 higher. And hers is much lower than Biden's was.
Right.
So it swung right, but like we don't know if this is a trend yet. And it swung right more in like a depressed Democratic turnout way. Jack Schitarelli came within 3.5 points of winning the governorship in 2021
against Phil Murphy,
which is the anti-Biden backlash.
Right.
Everyone is pointing to Phil Murphy's 2018 win, which was by 14 points.
I thought it was by 17.
I think it's 14.
He won like solid Republican districts too.
Yeah.
Against a pretty normie Republican too.
Yes, but like, so this is what I want to talk about. I'm not holding Sherrill to, I would like to see her meet or exceed Harris's margin. I am not holding her to Phil Murphy's first margin because
it's different time too.
It's different times, but it's also in 2018, Phil Murphy was running on the heels of a 2-term Republican governor, Chris Christie, who had a 15% approval rating.
Right.
And,
Bridgegate.
And the anti-Trump backlash.
Right.
In a blue state.
Correct.
So, like, he was going to dominate.
Right.
Republican governors have been elected in New Jersey. It's not uncommon. If you look back, the history is checkered.
Correct. Every time there's been a Democrat in office, typically, Phil Murphy's the only one who's the exception, who's won 2 terms. Every time there's been a Democrat in office, typically New Jersey and Virginia elect an opposite. So they typically elect a Republican. That's the trend. And if there's a Republican in office, those 2 states elect a Democrat. I also want to just add some context here from just history and such. Governorships are completely different animals than like a Senate race or a Congress race. Like, so you have Andy Beshear in Kentucky, right?
Yep.
You had John Bel Edwards in Louisiana, who is a Democrat, and you have Phil Scott, I want to say, in Vermont, who's a Republican, old school Republican, liberal Republican.
Yeah.
He was more liberal on the spectrum than John Bel Edwards was. So it's really funny. He gets reelected there. So governorships are very different, and people are more comfortable voting for the opposite party in a governorship, especially in a safe state for their party, because of the legislature. So continue.
Yeah. So that all that being said, that's what Sherrill's dealing with. She is running. This is essentially. There's a lot of people that don't love Phil Murphy at this point. I think his approval rating is hovering in the mid to low 40s.
It's low.
It's much better than Christie's was.
Right.
But he's at the end of 8 years, and Sherrill is essentially a 3rd term of Phil Murphy in people's minds, just like Clinton would have been a 3rd term of Obama. That's kind of the mentality people have at the more local level.
Right.
Trump is in the White House.
Right.
If Kamala Harris had won last year, I would think this would probably be not safe, but I think it would be a Chitterelli win.
I think it would be a likely flip. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that
I think Virginia, I think Spanberger
would win by like 3 or 4.
Right. I agree.
Because you can't really overcome that level of crazy. But looking at the numbers out of New Jersey, I don't know what to say, because there's been some polling that showed it as a tight race. There's been a lot of polling. The number that I've seen most consistently is Sherrill +8 in polling, reputable polling. And I've seen some tightening lately. I've seen a couple of Sherrill +5s. Looking at the in-person mail vote, Democrats obviously have a commanding lead in returns. Mm-hmm. In-person early vote opened on Saturday. Mm-hmm. Last year, in 2024, obviously, that's what last year was, Democrats did really well Saturday, Sunday, and then Republicans started winning the days. Monday did really, really well Tuesday, and I think Tuesday was their best day, and then they continued winning the days by less and less and less until we got to like Friday. Democrats flipped it back and won Saturday, Sunday, resoundingly. Democrats did better Saturday and Sunday this year than they did last year in terms of like margin. Mm-hmm. They lost the day Monday. But last year they lost on Monday by 5 points, and they lost Monday this year by 2 points. And then yesterday, Democrats won the day again. So I'm seeing a lot of Republican panic online. Yeah. And that's not to say it won't necessarily be close, but like...
Well, win's a win. That's also something that I need to...
Well, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
But like... I'm not saying that there's not possibility for it to be close. I think what we're seeing in these early in-person voting numbers plus the mail is that Chitterelli is going to need crazy numbers on election day.
Right.
Which is possible, but like Republicans have embraced voting by mail. Republicans have embraced voting early. It's still more Democratic than it is Republican, and Election Day is slightly more Republican than it is Democratic.
Correct.
Everything has purpled. So
the world's changed, too.
I've seen some analysis saying that Chitterelli would need to win the Election Day vote by like 63-37, and I just don't think that that's doable. In New Jersey, where there's an almost 1 million voter registration advantage for Democrats.
Yeah, you need to for New Jersey, and then let's move on to the next one. New Jersey, I think that the issue is urban turnout needs to turn out.
Yeah.
and suburban turnout needs to hold for the Democrats. And those are the two things that need to hold.
And North Jersey needs to turn out as well.
And North Jersey needs to turn out. So the issue is that Jack Chitterelli, I'm kidding. Chitterelli is, he, on all accounts, he is not a MAGA freak, even though he ran as one.
Well,
that's his record.
He is running as one this time.
Correct. People do not enjoy that. And then I think they've run a nasty campaign against Mikie Sherrill. Mm-hmm. I was a fan of Mikie Sherrill. She wasn't my choice in the primary. I would have voted for Gottheimer, but I think she's run kind of an uninspiring race.
She's been okay. She's been fine.
I mean,
she's stepped it up as of late, though.
I agree. Opinion. There's something.
She's not a performer. She's not like,
right.
That's what I've noticed.
Well, she's not. Someone said, this is not an original thought of me. She's not a normal person. Like, she is, so like everyone's like, oh, I want to relate to the person. Like, she is a above average individual. She attended the Naval Academy. She got a law degree. She's a former U.S. attorney. Her husband is a multimillionaire and bank investor in Goldman Sachs. Like, she lives in a different world than most Americans. And I think that's the truth. And she's still great. And
no, that's fine.
She's great.
Like, so my take on Sherrill is just like, she's fine. I don't see her as a future presidential contender like
she's
I see
not.
as Spanberger. She's fine. She's done a fine job. Her debate performances have been fine.
She's been fine.
I saw a video today of
her.
But
that's what kind of our whole point here, Kyle. This is the whole point of this podcast is I'm going to go vote for the fine candidate. I don't need to be inspired every single time.
Right.
Like, I get that people need to be that way sometimes, but like, if I was going to go vote in New Jersey, it's not like she's my fun. Okay, I haven't ordered a bumper sticker from her for my collection. That's how I feel about her. I would still go vote for her though.
Yeah, and I like her.
Yeah.
I saw a video of her today in what county was it? Patterson, New Jersey. Speaking to a room of Spanish speakers, and she's speaking in Spanish, like. It's not perfect Spanish. It's a little broken. She's
trying.
She keeps saying, "Como se dice this?" or whatever, like for like, how do you say whatever she's trying to say? And then somebody will tell her and she'll say it. I appreciate that about her. And I appreciate that she is definitely running a referendum on Trump kind of election, which is something that I don't think is the greatest idea all the time.
Right.
But I do think she has stepped up in the last month or two and made it much more local.
Yeah. And people in New Jersey and you live there, you know it.
Yeah.
It is a high tax state. It is a very expensive state. And people have every right to be upset about how expensive it is. And it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. So sorry, getting back to like what I think is going to happen.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Is I think she's going to win.
Yeah.
I've seen, like, with these numbers that are trickling in, this is all conjecture, and I don't know if these people know what they're talking about. But, like, a lot of the responses are like, this is looking like a Sherrill plus 8 to 10 race. That would be great. I think
great news.
Sherrill plus 5 is probably a safe bet. I'd like to see 6 or above.
And it's also the same situation as Spanberger, where you need to check on the congressional districts. Mm-hmm. She needs to win her congressional district. She needs to, which she will. She needs to win Josh Gottheimer's congressional district. She needs to win Tom Keene's congressional district, who's a Republican, and see her margin in Jeff Van Drew's district, which our brother and sister-in-law live in his.
Okay.
Those are the 4 indicators of how this is going to be. So even if she loses, which she won't, and even if she underperforms, which I don't think she will, Harris's margin, you need to check those congressional districts on election night.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think she's going to win. I think it'll probably be between 6. I think 6 is the one that sits in my head. 6 or
7.
I think the issue is the urban turnout's going to be abysmal. And that's why I'm saying check the suburban areas.
The Brian Stack machine is turning people out.
Yeah, no, I know. But check those congressional districts that used to be competitive. Jeff Van Drew was elected as a Democrat. That he flipped that seat for the Democrats, and then he switched to Republican. And then Thomas Keene, Tom Malinowski flipped it in 2018, and Sherrill flipped hers in 2018. You need to see how she does in those districts, because that's going to show where the map's going to be competitive next year.
Yeah,
in 2026.
Yeah. So
let's go across the Hudson.
Let's go to Pennsylvania first.
Oh, sure.
Because you were making a point about governors.
Sure.
And I want to shout out our
That was
governor.
really good, though. I said across
Let's
the
go
Hudson.
across the Hudson.
You get it? Because
Yes.
New Jersey. Is that the Hudson?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sweet.
Is it?
I don't know.
Oh my God, I lived there. Yeah, it is.
Is that the Hudson?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know.
Yes, it's Hudson
I was really
Hudson
excited
County,
about
New
that.
Jersey.
I was really excited to
Sorry,
say
that was good. But I want to talk about Pennsylvania.
Let's talk about PA.
Because not a lot happening on the statewide level here, but we have an important Supreme Court retention race happening.
Correct.
Which there's a couple of points I want to make. First of all, they're trying. This happens every year following the presidential, right? There's always a retention, or is this?
It depends on when they were elected. There's usually every year in Pennsylvania there is an election typically.
Yeah.
It depends on vacancies and all that stuff. Every year, typically there's either a Superior Court race, a Commonwealth Court race, which is happening this year, or a Supreme Court race, depending on vacancies. Every 10 years, judges get asked for retention. We're one of the only states that does this. They don't have to run re-elections. They're running on a yes or no, and there's no political party listed on their ballot.
Yeah.
Typically, these pass with usually 60 to 70% yes, because people don't want to go through the process. But because this has become, of course, partisan warfare, the I can't pronounce that word.
Judiciary.
The judiciary has become a partisan attack. So
Yes.
the Supreme Court justices who typically would not be are out campaigning for themselves within reason.
Yeah.
They're not being partisan. And they are going around the counties and they're trying to get people to vote yes on them. I want to just add one thing here. When they won in 2015, it was the last time the old coalitions turned out. They won all of the West Virginia, Pennsylvania Democrat counties. So they won all of the rural counties outside of Pittsburgh all the way up. They won all of the organized labor counties that have now flipped to Trump. And then the suburban areas outside of Philadelphia, which are now strongly Democrats, firmly in Democratic control, flipped. They were for the Republicans at that time. So it's different. They are trying to hold on to their seats. The reason why this is important is because if they do not get retained, those 3 seats now become vacant, and there has to be an election in 2027, which will be for all 3 seats. However, the Constitution in Pennsylvania allows the governor to appoint vacancies to the Supreme Court. However, the state Senate says they will not do that. So
because the state Senate is controlled by
Republicans. So those 3 seats will go up for another election if they lose this retention. However, I don't think I think it's going to be competitive, but I think they're going to win.
I've seen a lot of conventional wisdom online has just been that they're all going to be retained.
Right.
Another reason this is important that you didn't necessarily touch on was
right.
They're all Democrats. They're all Democratic aligned.
All 3 of them. No, they are Democrats. They were elected as Democrats.
They're elected as Democrats. Right. You take away, what is our current makeup?
It's something crazy.
Is it 5-3?
I thought it was, it's something like that.
So then they lose their seats.
It would be 2-2. Yeah, it would be 2-2.
So the Republicans.
It's 7-2.
So this is a safeguard. 7-2. Okay. Yeah. This is a safeguard. 7. So then it would be 4-2, right? Are you not mathing?
I'm stroking out.
It's okay.
Basically, long story short, the court, whatever it is, will be held up. The Republicans won't have a majority, and the Democrats won't. It'll be equal. That's what the outcome of this would be.
Okay, and then they would then have an opportunity in 2027 to flip the court.
Correct.
If Republicans were to win those seats in 2027,
ahead
of the 2028 election, which already we know is going to be like a shit show in terms of legal, and Pennsylvania is the state. So Democratic aligned independents,
and
Republicans with a brain.
These people aren't partisan warriors.
You need to retain these people. You need to vote yes on these people.
They're not partisan warriors.
For future election integrity.
And I want to add something right here. And this is the thing that I want to say. The Republicans are saying, let's term limit the Supreme Court. That's their campaign against them. The Supreme Court does have term limits, unlike the federal one. When they become, I believe, 72, they have to mandatorily retire. They're not allowed to continue serving on the bench. Most of these justices are pretty close to that. So this will be their last term.
Yep.
And the retention itself is a check on term limits. So you're approving another term for them. They're just not running for re-election.
Right.
So this is so not important. This is so not a partisan warrior thing to do. These people won their elections. It's true. But I've been really heartened to see, I was just in Mercer County today. I was in Beaver County the other day. These are old ancestral Democratic counties, very organized labor based. And I was seeing a lot, and I know signs don't vote, but I was seeing a lot of vote yes signs. And that was the only sign in the yard.
Well, I've got to say as well, what I wanted to talk about, we were talking about the future.
Yeah.
I've been watching the mail returns for Pennsylvania.
Oh, I haven't. Tell me more. I'm one of them.
They are much, much bluer than last year.
How's Philadelphia?
Which makes me angry. I'm actually just looking at the gross total.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It makes me angry that they are much bluer than last year, just as it makes me angry that Democrats are showing up in New Jersey this year like they weren't last year, and Virginia. It makes me angry because it's like, now that we're in crisis, you get it. But when we were telling you to avoid crisis, you didn't get it. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
They're much bluer. And I saw there was some, because like I said, I got a lot of Republican garbage in my Twitter feed.
I want to add one thing right here. I have been getting, it's been like recommended for you, and it's been exclusively Republican members of Congress on my Facebook and on my Instagram.
Same.
And it's like, and I have to click not interested. And it's like, it's not like people from Pennsylvania. That would kind of make sense.
I get
it's
Nancy Mace all the time.
I got, who did I get the other day? I got Hydesmith from Mississippi, and I got, who's the one who's crazy?
Which one?
They're all of them. But, the woman from Wyoming who replaced Nancy, or not Nancy.
The woman
Liz
from
Cheney.
Monsters, Inc.
Yes. So, like, the algorithm is there to enrage you.
Well, no, it's actually there to push Republicans on you.
Correct.
When you see it enough times, it sets in your brain whether or not you think you agree with it. But
it's true.
The vote is much bluer than it was this time last year. Democrats are returning their ballots at a much higher rate.
Yep.
But one of the Republican like election Twitter people that is a conservative was tweeting and was like, the numbers in Lackawanna County, which is like a
suburban Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Oh no. Sorry, Lackawanna is
it's one of the key counties that
Scranton.
We watch it.
Yes.
It's one of those that we watch.
Right.
The numbers were not good for Republic. Like the rate of return, Democrats were like doing I wasn't paying attention to it, like the exact numbers, but what I was paying attention to was the sentiment of his tweet, which was essentially, if this is what it looks like when Trump is not on the ballot in Pennsylvania, Republicans are going to have issues here in the future. And everyone is so discouraged.
They're not going to turn out for J.D. Vance, Kyle?
Who knows? But that is a rare moment that I've had where I have been able to, I've had very few of these, but I've had a couple of them lately where it's like this era, this is something Kamala Harris said too at the book tour, this will be over. This is going to end. There is going to be I don't know what it looks like, and I've said that many times, but there's life after this. And I just loved reading that because it was like, and he wasn't happy about it, but he was like, if this is what it looks like for Republicans when Trump's not on the ballot, it's not great. And I'm like, I think that there's an element of that at play, maybe in New Jersey a little bit. Like, there are Trump voters and there are Republican voters.
I think that's very true. And, I would love to get to a point, especially, we want to have kids, and it's a running joke in our family. But we want to have kids. I want them to grow up in a world that's not this.
Same.
Where it's like every election's like,
which I won't.
Which is like every election's like head against the wall.
But even outside of elections, it's just. But like,
I would love to be. No, I know. Yeah. But like, I would love it to be. Oh my gosh, I missed voting in the election, and everything's okay.
Yeah.
Which is just not how I can be right now.
Yeah, and I mean, so like tying that guy's comment to another thing that I saw recently, which was, grain of salt. Quinnipiac released a poll of Pennsylvania. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's Quinnipiac released a poll of Pennsylvania polling the governor's race.
Oh, yeah.
Which had Governor Shapiro up 16 points on Stacey Garrity, who has declared she is running.
Correct.
And it was like 56, like she was at the high 30s and he was in the mid 50s.
Yeah.
And then it also had a hypothetical with Doug Mastriano again. He was up 17 points on Doug. And then they did a hypothetical 2028 matchup between Shapiro and J.D. Vance. He was leading the state of Pennsylvania by 10 points.
Yeah.
That is obviously a long way away.
Correct.
We have to get through a primary.
Different things are different, right?
It's all, but like I looked at that number and I'm like, Obama won Pennsylvania by 10 points the first time.
Correct.
That like, I'm not getting lost in the hopium here, but I'm like, is there life after this where things, I'm not saying go back to normal, but where things like when Trump is removed from the equation, can our politics return to a point where we are not looking at razor thin elections in the blue wall every time,
or just in general?
In general,
yeah.
Or where, heaven forbid, like actual sane people are capable of winning. Josh Shapiro has like a 60% approval rating in Pennsylvania, and not to discount either of those results against the gubernatorial candidates, because if Josh Shapiro does that well again, there are 4 seats next year that are highly competitive for the House of Representatives.
Correct.
That we could.
Correct, and that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, all eyes on Pennsylvania. Next year, the only races on people's ballots are going to be governor and lieutenant governor, but it's the same ticket.
Yeah.
And Congress.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
So you got to turn out for Shapiro, and you got to turn out. There's 3 that are very competitive, and then there's 1 that's likely Republican, even though it should be competitive.
And there are like the local, like state senate, state.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like,
Duh, sorry.
And there are 2. You said there are 2 seats that we could potentially flip in the state senate and end up flipping the state senate.
Correct.
If Josh Shapiro is dominating like he is in those polls, and he won by 15 points last time.
He won our seat, Erie's, by 15 points in 2022.
Yeah. So like,
I mean, he's a really good candidate. I think he has some issues, but I really like him.
I mean, he's fine. Like he's better than fine, I think. But I like This matters.
If he could just knock off the Obama impersonation.
Well,
no,
let's say we have a very narrow majority in the House in Pennsylvania. Let's say we end up flipping the state Senate next year.
Right.
And Josh Shapiro is governor.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that we could get through.
Right.
In the next 2 years. Josh Shapiro is almost certainly running for president.
Well, in 2028, if we flip the 2 seats that we need in 2026 and 2028, there's 3 seats that we could flip, and the Democrats could have like not a permanent majority, but a very good Senate
robust majority. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like this all matters, and it matters that Shapiro is as strong as he is, and it matters that the Republican candidates are as weak as they are, and it also matters, unfortunately, that Harris is not in the White House in these individual cases. It is the states right now that are leading the rebellion, if you will, against Donald Trump.
Right.
When you look at the way that blue states are handling themselves right now, in general, it is state-level Democrats that are providing the resistance.
Our governors are doing a really good job. I really
agree.
think. And I think that there's a lot of talent in the governor pool.
Yep.
I'm very curious to see how that translates when they run for president. My wet dream for 2028 is that these, 4 or 5 of those governors will run in the Democratic primary, and they're the only ones on the stage. That would be my goal. I don't want any more senators. I don't want any House of Reps members. I want people who know actually how government works, and they do it every day. I would love to see a stage where it's Gretchen Whitmer, Wes Moore, Josh Shapiro, Andy Beshear, and Gavin Newsom.
Beshear doesn't have the juice.
Well, Beshear, he's working on it.
He'll be a great number 2.
I think they could all be debating the policies, and they could literally be like, no, I did this in my state, and this was great. Or I did this in my state, and it was great. And that would be, and then I think I did it in my state, and this is great.
Was that RFK?
No, that's Gavin Newsom. He has that sexy, gravelly voice.
Yeah.
But that's my goal. I do not want a redux of 2020 where it's a race to the left in the sense of ridiculous race to the left.
I think we're going to see a lot of people run in 2028.
Unfortunately, you're right, and I don't think Ken Martin has the juice to really put on a good debates and forums for them. But, Rahm Emanuel wants to run for president, Kyle.
Yeah, let's move on from that. I think, yeah. So,
Kyle, Rahm Emanuel wants to run for president.
I'm good.
Do you know who that is?
I sure do. I'm good.
I love all the news stories about this random guy.
Moving on to other governors who are strong. We don't need to spend a lot of time on California.
No.
Prop 50 is going to pass.
It's probably going to pass. I would say
Gavin Newsom
59
sent out an
to
email
41.
saying, stop sending me money.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Like,
I need
we're
to buy
good.
his merch.
He's basically like, we're good. We've
He
got
was
some-
selling Trump 2028 knee pads.
Yeah, those were funny. But I wouldn't be surprised. 59-41. That makes sense. I wouldn't be surprised if Prop 50 does better than Harris did.
I totally agree.
What was her margin? It was 20 points.
It was the normal. I thought it was like 59-41.
It might have been. I wouldn't be
It's
surprised.
the normal California number.
Yeah, I would not be surprised if it does better than Harris. Orange County Democrats are currently leading in their votes, and which is like it's like a red.
It used to be. It's competitive.
It's competitive, but like we're consistent. Like people are shocked by that. Like the return rate, it's gonna.
We need to keep this momentum going, is what I'm saying.
Yes, and
it needs to be in 2029, in 2030, 2031.
Yeah.
2032.
Yeah.
And then let's move on to what we want to talk about next. But
Sure.
I just met with an organizer for Indivisible. Do you know who they are?
Yeah.
They're the ones who put on the No Kings protests.
Yeah.
And, I have a lot of issues with them, as the organization. I thought they are summertime soldiers.
Yep.
It's there when
We've talked about this.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, so I met the organizer, and I said, I don't know if you have any sway. I was like, but you need to talk to whoever you need to talk to. Like, when whoever the Democrat wins in 2028, you guys need to stick around and support what we're trying to do. I was like, because you can't only be for what you're against, because you're just there.
That's the issue I have with No Kings.
Right. So you can't, which again,
Great to see him out in the street.
Great.
Where were you last year?
Well, where were you in 2020? Where were you in 2022? So my point being is this energy needs to continue to go. I would love to see a formulation in the future where it's not controversial that we win every election, and it's not out of the norm that we win every.
And where we actually support our people.
Right. If you look at 1932, 1930, and you look at the midterm elections where the Democrats won the House and Senate, then 1932, FDR, more people. Mm-hmm. At one point, which this is unrealistic in modern day, he had 67 Democratic aligned senators. Mm-hmm. 67 to get his agenda done. Now, it was a little different. And he had, I think, 325 House members. Yeah. We need to continue this momentum. If you want systemic change, that's why I get angry with people who are like, Democrats do nothing. I'm like, you don't give us the opportunity to do it.
Look at the state level. Yes, we do.
Well, right, we do. But you don't give us the opportunity federally. And you got to organize even when it's hard to organize. Mm-hmm. And you can say, yay, I disagree with Joe Biden on this. I disagree with Kamala Harris on this. I disagree with Obama on this. But it's better than the alternative.
Yeah, and so should we take what you're saying and move on to what the future is? Because I think we want to talk about some Senate races.
Well, do you want to talk about New York?
I don't know if I want to talk about New York. I mean,
the only thing I'll say about New York then is this. This is the only thing I wanted to say.
Mamdani's going to win.
Mamdani's going to win. Andrew Cuomo is a weirdo.
Cuomo's numbers are looking okay right now.
They are looking okay.
But okay as in
for him.
He's gaining some
momentum.
I saw a poll released today that had Mamdani at 43, Cuomo at 33, and Silva at
oh man,
the guy in
Curtis.
The hat. Yeah,
he didn't wear the hat at the debate because he's taking it seriously this time.
And then 6% undecided. I guess there's a world in which Cuomo could
There's
pull
a
off
world
an
that he could pull it off. I doubt it.
I don't think yeah.
Mamdani is going to win, and this is not my original thought either. Someone else said this, but the race is between a handsy Italian and a lunatic, the Republican, and an anti-Semite, Mamdani. The only thing I wanted to say about this is this. I think Mamdani I understand the people like him. I understand why. I like parts of his message.
I'm keeping an open mind.
Yeah, I like that he's straightforward about things
questions
for the most part. He answers questions when they're about billionaires and rich people
and New Yorkers,
but he does not answer questions when it is, should Hamas surrender. But the only thing I wanted to say, so I'm keeping an open mind about him. The only thing that I wanted to say is one of the debate questions is, would you endorse Kathy Hochul for re-election?
Yeah.
And the answer was no from all of them. And then he wanted Kathy Hochul to come to his rally and support him. I think that's pretty shitty, to be completely honest.
It speaks volumes to her character, though.
It does, and you know what? I've changed my opinion on Kathy Hochul. I kind of like her now.
She's changed. She's really stepped it up.
Yeah,
And I think once
I'm
Prop
kind of
50
happy about
passes,
it.
I think she's gonna open the door for New York to redistrict in time for 2028.
And the only thing, I knew she was from Buffalo, but I didn't know she was from Buffalo. Like, I knew she was, but I didn't really think about it that much. It's very impressive that a upstate New Yorker, like super upstate New Yorker, is the governor. So I really respect her, and I think I would be actually backing her over any of her
Delgado,
challenges.
yeah. We'll see what happens in that race. But yeah, I agree. I think it's really shitty that, everyone was trashing her for not endorsing him. She endorses him, and then he wouldn't do it back.
Correct.
I think that speaks to his character. I don't trust him.
No, I think people are going to see.
On paper, there are things that I like about him.
You don't trust him politically.
I don't trust him politically. I will keep an open mind about him. Mostly because I don't have a choice.
Well, I think that he has good ideas.
Some good
ideas.
Yeah.
I like some of the things he has. I enjoy that he's willing to talk to people and answer questions.
I agree.
I disagree with him on a lot of things.
Yeah, same.
So like if I was in New York, I don't know how I would vote.
I know how I'd vote.
But you know who I kind of like? I like Curtis.
Yeah, we're going to move on.
He's hilarious. I wouldn't vote for him, though.
No.
Okay, so now we're moving on.
Let's talk about Graham Platner.
Graham Platner, the grifter in chief.
So I want to speak directly to the camera. As I have always said, Janet Mills is the only option for the state of Maine next year. I've always said that from the get-go.
From the get-go, Kyle. You were there.
Janet Mills, the young...
Firebrand,
2-term, 77-year-old governor of Maine is the only option.
And you know what? I think she's the future of the Democratic Party.
She is the future of the Democratic Party.
She is.
I like Janet Mills.
I always have, yeah.
When Graham Platner got into this race, I was kind of like, oh, here we go. His video, his announcement video, and the rhetoric shortly thereafter was all the Democratic Party has left behind working people. I like there's
an energy about him that I do like.
Yes, there's an energy. So I'm looking at two people specifically right now, Platner and James Tallarico.
Yeah,
they
I
have
like
the
James
same
Tallarico.
Basic message,
Correct.
which is it's us versus the billionaires.
Right.
And that's what's driving their campaign.
Mm-hmm.
James Tallarico is in Texas, I don't know what he does, but he's Jesus-y. Like he has some kind
He's a pastor.
Yeah, so like he's going to churches.
He's Presbyterian.
He's connecting.
Like us.
What I appreciate is that he's connecting his Christian values very, very clearly and directly to liberal positions.
Correct.
Now, religion doesn't have a place in government, but still,
and he says
he
that.
knows that.
He says that. He says that's what informs his liberal views.
Correct.
Right.
But he's a great messenger. He's young. It would give us another hot senator in our coalition.
I mean, Alyssa Slotkin's hot.
And he's doing a great job with.
We have a hot coalition.
I think Colin Allred sleepwalked through his he overperformed Harris last year, but he would have overperformed her by more if he had actually campaigned.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're running him again, I shouldn't say that. I can't believe I just said that. The fact that he is running again.
What do you mean?
And has support. They're running him again. I hate when people say that.
Oh, he's running himself.
Running
right.
But I think he has Schumer's backing and whatever.
Yeah. See, we're complex. We support James Tallarico, right?
I like James Tallarico.
That's who I would vote for.
Same.
Yeah. Because I like that he's just direct
not just because
about
he's
it.
hot, but because he has good ideas.
No, he is attractive though.
And he's running in the state that he lives in.
And I like him.
Graham Platner has a Nazi tattoo. And
no, Kyle, he just didn't know.
Hold on. There's a spiel, and I want you to say what you say, what you have to say.
Sure.
So when Platner got into the race, I rolled my eyes at some of the
rhetoric.
Shit that he was saying, very reminiscent of Bernie Sanders. I liked him, and if for the first little bit, it was like if I lived in Maine, I think I'd support him because I think he has. Maine is one of the whitest states in the country. It's one of the oldest states in the country.
Right.
Maine voted for Bernie Sanders in the 2016 primary.
Right.
So they like that populist energy.
Mm-hmm.
They voted for Kamala Harris. They voted for Joe Biden. They voted for Hillary Clinton in the general elections. It's a blue state at the federal level.
It's centrist state.
It's a centrist, but Harris won by 7 points. Biden won by 14.
Yeah.
It's a
Hillary Clinton won by 2.
It's a blue state.
It is on federal level. Yeah.
But Graham Platner had some unique attributes that make him strong in the state of Maine, in my opinion. And I'm saying make in the present tense because people are not abandoning this guy.
And I have some thoughts.
The Reddit post came out about Graham
Which
Platner's...
the Reddit posts are getting swept under the rug, and I want to... Well,
Hold on,
continue. Go ahead. Yeah.
I want you to say your piece.
You're good. You're good.
Graham Platner's Reddit post came out. There are very offensive things in them, and yet the posts themselves did not disqualify him for me, because we have to allow for people, at least the way it was being reported and framed on, we have to allow for people to grow up.
Yeah.
And the way that he explained it is what didn't disqualify it for me, because he basically said, I'm sorry, this is wrong, I don't believe these things anymore. And then he said, I was angry, isolated, I didn't have friends, I wasn't in a romantic relationship, I had just come home from serving wherever, and I was in this very lonely, angry, isolated phase of my life that drove me to the internet and drove me to have these abhorrent beliefs. And then I reintegrated myself into society. I met somebody, I fell in love, I found community, and my opinions changed.
Mm-hmm.
If that's where the end screen came in, I'd be like, great. And also, we talk about this male loneliness epidemic.
It's true.
I was kind of like, I honestly, I was kind of grateful that this all came to the surface, because I was like, this is a perfect teaching moment. It's a perfect permission structure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that he said what he said.
Right.
I'm glad that he addressed it the way he did. It almost made me, like him a little bit more.
I get it. Yeah.
And then the Nazi tattoo.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking at this race, and I'm like, I don't know which way the wind is going to blow. I don't know who's going to end up winning this primary. Janet Mills is very old.
She is old.
It's an old state. They might not care. Susan Collins is also old.
She's ancient too.
So we'll see. He would not have my support in a primary, because you do not get a tattoo like that and not know what it means.
Well, or
shortly thereafter find out and cover it up. But it comes out when he's running for office.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, this is what it is. And then he did an interview, and it looked like he put on a temporary tattoo over it and was like, oh, I covered it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Well, I have a couple thoughts.
Yeah.
And the first one that I wanted to say is this. I'm all about winning elections.
Yep.
So I liked aspects of what he was coming from. I think we need more white men who are young, who say have combat experience in Iraq and Afghanistan. More the merrier.
Mm-hmm.
I liked some of his populist energy, where I was like, I think I can relate to some of this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Reddit posts come out. The Reddit posts, they're disparaging black people. And then he has one about sexual assault and how women not deserve it, but they instigate it by what they're wearing, basically. Yeah. And then there's a couple.
I'm not defending those. By the way.
No. But and then he had one where he said, "I'm a communist and we need to arm ourselves." And then he said something else about killing Republicans, I think. Oh, and then all white people in rural areas are racist, which is just fundamentally not true. That is not a true statement.
You're looking at me like I was going to say that.
No. Like, to me, I'm like, that is fundamentally not a true statement.
He also had something using the F slur against
that makes
the gays. And that's where my skin in the game. I read it and I'm like, wow, that really sucks. And then I'm like,
okay, so here's my thing. He can apologize for those.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. However, I'm about winning elections. So you can think whatever you want. I'm sure I've said something in the past that is terrible.
Yeah.
The ads write themselves, is all I'm saying. And then he says, well, they already call us socialists, so it doesn't matter. It's different when you're running against someone who is genuinely not, who has never said, I am a communist, versus someone who says, I am a communist. That's the first point. Mm-hmm. Second point, the Nazi tattoo. I get it. He was in the Marine Corps. He was in the infantry. He was in a lot of firefights. I get it. Mm-hmm. And you get tattoos and you want to be badass. The symbol that's tattooed on his body, if you watch the movie Schindler's List, if you watch any World War II movie where it's like the American point of view, if you watch Band of Brothers, which is a great mini-series about the parachute infantry,
yeah,
they literally like it just sticks out in my mind. Literally, the guys in Band of Brothers, they're fighting, and then they kill a Nazi, and they pull his body up, and they're like, the quote's like, he's like, Jesus Christ, these guys are SS officers or whatever. And you can see the skull and the crossbones symbol. It's a very distinctive. It's not like a pirate skull and crossbones.
Yeah.
It's very distinct. My thing is, I believe him. He didn't know what it was. That's actually true.
Sure.
I believe that he didn't know what it was, and that's fine. It's been like 17 years.
Yeah.
And you would have figured it out by now. Like, I'm sorry, you would have. And that just shows a lack of judgment and a lack of character. And so now you have a guy who says he's a communist, who has views against women and gay people and black people, and says that left-wingers need to be arming up to fight the Civil War. And he says that white people are racist and they're fundamentally racist. And he says rural people are racist. And he has a Nazi tattoo. He might win the Nazi vote, but he's not going to win the swing vote. And the issue is this is too important to fumble.
Well, I'm going to counter a little bit.
Sure, yeah. It's too important to fumble.
Maybe he would win the swing vote because men get away with things like that. People really don't like Susan Collins right now. Susan Collins is on the ballot for the first time without Trump. It's an anti-Trump, theoretically, midterm. It should theoretically be an anti-Trump wave in the midterm.
Oh, sure, yeah,
it's a referendum midterm on Trump.
She's been elected since 96.
Sure, but like, I mean, we're getting to the point where she is like the Joe Manchin of their, like, their people are not happy with her,
right?
Because she parades as a moderate,
but then she votes for the agenda.
Then she votes for the my problem with populism is I hear Platner and I hear Tallarico.
Yeah.
And I don't believe this to be true about Tallarico. I hear people like Platner talking, and he goes, "We're all angry at the same people," and I go, "Yeah, we are." And I hear him say, "We're all getting Democrats and Republicans both are getting robbed by the same people." Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we are.
I hear the talk about like you have compassion for your neighbor who voted for Trump or whatever. They got hoodwinked. They got manipulated. And
yeah, they are.
And I go,
oh.
But okay, sure, yeah,
hell yeah.
The algorithms, which Tallarico's talking about a lot.
I totally agree with the algorithms.
I'm like, yeah, I can give a pass on that. I am all in favor of like this, the anger over getting robbed blind, over the redistribution of wealth. I am completely on board.
Yeah.
Where you lose me is these people, and I've seen it online.
Yeah.
Will throw every minority that has worked hard to gain rights over the last 60 plus years under the bus if it means that they think they'll get their revolution.
I totally agree with that.
So I want to build consensus with Republicans. I want to bring, we have to agree on the truth, but I want,
Correct.
I'm fine if we're going to bond over, if our connection is, hey, actually, we're mad at each other, but we should be mad at this other person who's manipulating everything. That's great. That does not mean I'm going to excuse horrible beliefs about minorities.
Well, and the other thing that I wanted to say
I'm not going to say, hey, you and I agree that that redistribution of wealth is necessary, and the rich people are getting richer and we're getting poorer. That's great. We agree and we're fighting the same person, but you hate me because I'm gay.
Right.
It's
you
inexcusable.
Can't work together. Right. And that's where
in
an
election, maybe it's okay. In everyday life, I'm not getting on board with that.
Well, and I said to so my point, I watched the Pod Save America interview with Graham. I can listen to people I disagree with.
Well, so can I, but they're just insufferable.
Oh, no. I meant like, I was like, oh my God, just get me through this. Because it was just softball after softball after softball. And I was like, oh my God. But then he also did something that I thought was really disingenuous, where first of all, he says the establishment is coming after him.
Yeah, it's always the establishment.
But the issue is that if this didn't come out now, this is going to come out next October when the Republicans drop it.
Yep.
And then we're screwed because then we have to defend someone who has a Nazi tattoo. And I don't want to do that.
And the Democrats already have, I am hesitant to say the sentence as I was going to say it.
Maybe
we already have an anti-Semitism
issue
label because of our far left flank.
Correct. So, but then the other thing, so he blamed the establishment, and I think that is an unfair a primary, you have to figure out who your candidates are. I think these are all fair attacks, by the way. It's fair. He has a literal Nazi tattoo.
I agree.
The second part that he had. So he has a 100% VA disability rating from the VA. He gets paid for his he has a salary from the VA because he's a disabled vet. Very true. He then decided to say, so someone pointed that out, which it's not an attack on him, but they were like, he says that he's 100% disabled, but he throws, he's an oyster farm, whatever. I don't think that's a fair attack. So I agree with him on that. He then decides that he wants to say the Democratic Party hates veterans and they're going after him because he's a veteran and that he is, he's distraught because veterans don't want to be a part of the Democratic Party because of this. The issue is, and I know we disagree a little bit on him, but right next door in Maine is Jared Golden, who is a Marine Corps infantry veteran, just like he is, who served in war.
Well, Democrats don't hate veterans.
No. I'm saying this is ridiculous.
I know, but
it's
I'm
ridiculous.
saying this is straight out of the Bernie Sanders playbook.
Exactly.
Bernie
That's what
Sanders
I'm saying.
has poisoned our politics on the left.
Just because we're pointing something out about you and so my point being
that
you did, you commented these things and you have a Nazi tattoo does not mean we hate veterans. It has, just because you're a veteran doesn't mean that you're excused from your behavior too. Like your behavior, your bad behavior doesn't get canceled out with you did honorable service for this country. He should be commended for his honorable service to the country. The other thing that I want to say is this. He says that, his military service in the Army and the Marine Corps was very traumatic for him, which I totally get with it. He then joined Blackwater, and he refuses to say it's Blackwater. It's Blackwater, which, do you know Blackwater?
Can you explain what that is?
Blackwater is a private military contract a company. They got in trouble in the Iraq War for torture, for a lot of horrible things. He joins them. If this was anyone else, so leftist
establishment Democrat.
If this was Jared Golden, for example, and he was running for Senate, his career would be completely over.
Why would it be over? Because the leftists who are defending Platner
correct
all over him.
But if Jared Golden had any of these things in his background, I would say the exact same thing. I'd be like, all right, he needs to drop out and probably resign from office if he has a Nazi tattoo. My point being here is you have to apply the same litmus test on everyone, regardless of their opinions. There is another left candidate in the field for you to join. Jordan Wood. You can go back him. And I thought he had something funny. He's the Obama logo tattooed on his arm. Yeah. And he's like, this is my only tattoo. And I was like, that is funny. My point being is this. Just because your record comes out is not the establishment attacking you. Yeah. And you have to defend your record. And I'm sure if I ever ran for office.
Progressives don't get that.
Right. But they can find something in my record. And they would say, and I would say, yes, I said that. And here's why I said it. Here's how I was thinking of things. And I'm ready to move on. He did that part. That's okay. He then wants to double down. It's a grievance-oriented politics. Just because he's being attacked for having a Nazi tattoo.
Which has worked for the right.
Right. And that's what I'm afraid of.
I agree. And that's a place I don't want to go to. But I also have to say, let's say he wins this nomination.
They are going to run ads that this guy has a Nazi tattoo. And then they're going to run ads with his quotes from Reddit in an AI voice of him reading it out loud.
Let's say he wins this nomination. I hear you. Let's say he wins this nomination. If I lived in Maine, I'd vote for him over Susan Collins.
I don't know what I would do because he has a Nazi tattoo.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
But Grant, this goes back to the
if you got one by accident, Kyle, in 2007, and then you got it covered up in 2010, it would be completely different.
Look at me.
It's 2025.
I am not defending the tattoo.
And he hates Jews. He's an anti-Semite too. That's the thing that drives me insane about him. Is there evidence of that? Oh, it's all, APAC it's all the dog whistles.
Yeah, the APAC
It's
stuff
the dog whistles.
If APAC is your number one issue when you're deciding
if
whether to
the war
support a
in the
candidate,
Middle East is your top issue in a race for it is an issue. It's crazy.
But James Tallarico said he's not accepting APAC donations.
There's a difference.
This is going to be
it's a difference.
Something that happens in 26 and 28 where polling is showing more Americans are sympathizing with Palestinians than they are with Israelis at this moment.
I understand.
This is a reality we're gonna have to deal with, even if we don't fully agree. I
empathize with the Palestinians.
I do. No, yeah, I know, but we have both been historically a little bit more Anyway.
Yeah, we're together. We're together on that.
But if Platner wins this nomination, my questions are not going to be about the tattoo. They are in the primary. In the general election, it's going to be, are you going to vote yes on XYZ in the Democratic agenda?
I think he's another Fetterman.
Are you going to vote against the Trump?
He's another
We'll
Fetterman.
See. We'll see.
It's the same. I've seen this
I'd rather have Fetterman in Maine than Collins.
Would you rather have Joe Manchin than Jim Justice in West Virginia?
Yes, I've said that.
Same. Yeah, exactly. But this is my point. It's so important. We should not be losing this. We shouldn't be losing this before it even starts.
I agree.
And a lot of his team has resigned from
I agree.
this.
This
would end any establishment.
I want to
then.
be very clear as well. If
Yeah.
I lived in Maine during the primary, I would vote for
Janet Mills.
Janet Mills.
You know why? Because you've been a big fan.
Okay, but I actually have always. I have been a big fan.
Too.
But I have always said Janet Mills is the only choice.
She's the future of Maine
The future
politics.
of the Democratic Party. The future of the Bob Evans and
Coalition.
Cracker Barrel lobby. We've got to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to briefly talk about the fact that it's October 29th as we're recording this. By the time this is out, it will be in the month of November. And as of right now, SNAP will be going away for, is it 40 million people?
42 million.
42 million. This is food assistance for anyone who does not know. I'm sure everyone does. Food assistance for low-income individuals, many of whom have full-time jobs.
Most of them do.
Most of them have full-time jobs and cannot afford to eat.
They are the people working in McDonald's. They are the people working in manufacturing facilities that pay
shit wages.
$9 an hour. They're the people working as your home health care aides for your grandparents.
And I want to say, revolutions tend to start when people are hungry. It's the most cliche thing to say.
Yeah.
It's true. Donald Trump's approval rating, I just saw an economist. So this is not just like some random outlier poll. YouGov, an economist, put out a poll, I think it was yesterday. This guy has a 39% approval rating and a 61%, or it was either 59 or 61% disapproval rating in this poll. Donald Trump's not popular. People don't like him. Democrats are also unpopular at this moment.
I'll tell you something, and this is important. I can't tell you where I was talking to this person, but this person is a Trump voter, 3-time Trump voter, and this person is, interesting to me. I'm friends with them, and they were talking to me. They brought it up. They're like, hey, because they thought I voted for Trump. They don't know that I'm political. That's the type of relationship.
Do they know you at all?
No, it's a business relationship technically.
Okay.
So, and they're like, yo, they're like, are you upset with what Trump's been doing? And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, like, this isn't what he ran on. And I looked at the person. I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, kind of the videos. Have you been seeing the ICE videos? And I'm like, yeah, they're crazy. And they're like, that's not what I voted for. And I was like, I didn't vote for him. And they were like, you didn't vote for him? I was like, no. And they were like, oh. They're like, well, the ICE videos are pretty crazy. And then this person was like, and the tariffs? And I was like, yeah, I'm pro free trade, but he ran on tariffs. And they were like, they're like, what do you mean? And I was like, that was his whole agenda. And they were like, I don't know if I can support him anymore. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, are you really flipping on us? Flipping? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, wow, true story. But like, my point being is, it's crazy. We're in a crazy time right now.
I have nothing to say to that.
No, and that's kind of what I said. But
I have nothing to say to that.
I was like, he ran on this,
He ran on this. You did vote for it.
Yeah.
But like this, there's so much terrible stuff happening right now. And there are so many bad things. And I wake up every day and I'm like, what fresh hell am I going to read about today?
Yeah.
What I guess we'll end with this.
Yeah.
There is life after Trump.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know what the state of our country is going to be. I don't know if we're going to be locked into a permanent Republican Congress. And by permanent, I mean however long it lasts. We do have some power at the state level. I'm thinking about North Carolina. Mm-hmm. We theoretically, unless like he nukes the country, literally, there should be a way out of this. It gets harder and harder every day. Donald Trump is hated. He is not liked. He is not a popular figure.
Right.
They want you to believe he is popular. All the algorithms are telling you he's popular. All the networks are telling you he's popular. He is not popular. He never has been. But
Right.
like he's reaching January 6th level approval ratings right now.
And I think that what needs to be
Democrats
said.
right now, you know that I blame voters.
Yeah.
You know that I have minimal blame for Democratic candidates for what happened last year.
Right. I get that.
Democrats have an opportunity to seize on that unpopularity.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with Schumer. I'm not happy with Jeffries.
Right.
We have an opportunity here, and I hope we take it.
And I want to just end with this. When people have been astounded about hearing how many Americans are on
And by
SNAP,
we, I mean voters, too.
voters, right? And I think people have been astounded to find out that 41 million of their fellow Americans are on food assistance. This is a time where let's hear a plan from the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. Well, I mean, the Democrats have a plan, but how are we? Because they're like, that's outrageous. These people are on food stamps. What's your plan to get people off food stamps?
Yep.
Like, why are they on food stamps in the begin with? To qualify for food stamps, I've worked with people on food stamps.
Why are you so against ending wage stagnation?
Right. So these people need help, and let's try to find a way to lift them up too at the same time. And things are going to hurt, and they're using them as a hostage. But the one thing I want to end on this is, for the first time ever, voters who qualify for food stamps voted for Donald Trump in 2024 for the first time ever. People in that low income bracket who would be qualified. I'm not saying everyone who voted for people on food stamps voted for Donald Trump, but they primarily reside in red states. They primarily reside in rural parts of the red states. Obviously, there's a inner city component too, but these people are kind of finding out that he doesn't care about them. He has the ability to keep that funding going for them to feed their families, and he's refusing to do it. And that's something that is really
And they'll blame the Democrats. But
and Shelley Pingree, who's a representative from Maine, she is the Portland congresswoman. She basically said, they have $20 billion for Argentina or $40 billion for Argentina, but they can't even feed our own countrymen. And I think that's a valid take.
Yep.
And hot take, Argentina's not our friend. They never have been.
But where did
Remember
the Nazis
the Falklands.
flee? Where did the Nazis flee after
Argentina.
World War II?
But they've never been an ally of ours. Go Britannia. The Falklands are ours. But you have to know that when people are tired of seeing their money going overseas, but when Donald Trump does it, it's a pass. I don't think people are going to be standing for that. And there's a difference between helping someone militarily like Ukraine or even Israel and giving money to bail out their economy because you like the way that he treats you because he's also a MAGA freak or a Argentina freak down there.
Yeah, I guess the closing line that I want to say is at this time in 2017, Donald Trump had on the economy, his approval rating was around 20% positive, like above board. It is the inverse of that now.
Yep.
Polling is showing he's at negative 19 with voters on the economy. I maintain that Kamala Harris ran on the economy, that Joe Biden ran on the economy and governed on the economy. Hillary Clinton ran on the economy. Democrats do talk about the economy. It's the focal point of everything. This is an opportunity. And with that, talk to you soon.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.